Welcome back to Midwest Access. I'm your host, Jesse Allison. Robin Gwaltney of the Gwaltney Group joins us now to share insight and guidance for local buyers and sellers with Real Talk with Robin. And thank you so much for joining us today, Robin.
It's always fun.
It is always fun. I like to feel like I know what's going on in the real estate
You're
market.
learning a lot, but I don't want the audience to get worried that you're going to ditch them and come work with me.
All right, I'll probably stay.
Okay.
But it is so interesting and so nice to know what's going on. Yes, absolutely. So we're getting a bit of insight into home inspections today, which I think, whether you've been through the process or not, you don't always know what to do. Should that be something I ever waive? So maybe take us through it a little bit.
Yeah, okay. You're spending a lot of money when you buy a house.
Yes.
I mean, it is a big investment. Would you ever buy a car without test driving it?
Never.
Exactly.
No.
I feel like an inspection is so important.
Okay.
And so what happens is, things got crazy a few years back when the interest rates were so low and people had to fight for houses.
Right.
And there's 10 offers, 11 offers. So it's like, don't even think about an inspection because there's always one guy that's willing to say, I won't do one.
Sure.
And so then everybody's dropping them off. So then it kind of became the norm that people weren't doing inspections.
Okay.
And then there were a lot of regrets after that because people were finding out things about the house that they weren't aware of. So even then, I never recommended it. Okay. I mean, I always felt good when we went to look at a house and it had been pre-inspected. And when I listed a house, I always recommended that the sellers pre-inspect it.
That's a great idea. I have not heard of that.
So it's the same process. We use the same inspectors. It's the same price. And the seller pays instead of the buyer. So the seller pays, has the inspector come over, do the complete inspection, and puts the report out for the people to read.
Oh, that is awesome. Because I think as a seller too, when I've sold a home, I don't always know what is,
Bingo.
Yeah, I don't always know what's
You're
been
kidding
going
me.
on with my house.
Yeah, you're kidding me. I had that. I had no idea I had that.
You've owned the house for 15 years, things happen.
And I actually had sellers who, when they got offers with no inspection, if they hadn't done a pre-inspection, they were like, oh, now I see why you want me to do a pre-inspection because this makes me nervous because what if there's something wrong? Like, I don't want to be responsible for a furnace that's leaking carbon monoxide and then read in the news that a family died in my house because I didn't know that was going on.
Right.
So, I mean, it's important. Home inspections are important.
Very
important,
yeah.
So I always advise, like, when we were going through that craziness, I would either buy the houses that had the pre-inspection available, those are the ones we would bid on, or I had an inspector at my beck and call, and I would say, can you come with us to this showing?
Oh, wow.
And we would literally pay him to come and kind of do an inspection as we were going, check out the major things, because it was that nuts.
Wow.
Because to buy a house without an inspection,
so scary.
Not a good idea.
And I think it's important what we said already, that it isn't like sellers are always trying to sneak something by a buyer. They may just be completely unaware.
And more likely that.
More likely that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now there are times, like if it's a brand new construction, do you need to do an inspection for a brand new construction? No, and I'll tell you why you don't. Because the builder has to have that house inspected every step of the way.
Oh, really?
The city of Rochester does building inspections, okay? Or whatever city you're building in.
Yeah.
And they might be different in each place that you're building, so you might want to know what they are.
Right.
But, if an electrician does his wiring and the inspector can inspect that prior to the walls going up, that's a much more thorough inspection than an inspector putting a little thing in the plug-in and seeing if it's working, right?
And hoping that everything underneath is correct.
Right. So, I mean, and they have they can do a good inspection, but the best inspection is the one that's being done. So when I've had buyers say, I'm going to buy this new construction, but I'd feel better about doing an inspection, that's when I say, if you feel better about it, but I honestly think you're throwing away $500 or $400. I mean, I don't think you need that.
And that says a lot because you just talked about how important
But that house
inspections
has
are.
been inspected, okay?
Okay,
And another
really
time,
good to know.
And another time that somebody might want to waive it if it's a condo unit where the big ticket items, like some of those condo units have central heat, so there's no furnace, right? There's no air conditioning. The roof and the siding and the windows are all taken care of by the association.
Sure.
So what are we inspecting? the stove and the refrigerator, well, guess what? They're going to die when they're going to die, and you're going to get a new one. And you can kind of tell by looking at them. So that's personal property, really.
Okay.
So then, I mean, I'm not saying we never do them, but if somebody said, I don't want to, I'd be like, I'm okay with that. Yeah. But when I take people into these 1920s houses, and they look adorable, and they say, it looks so good, I don't think we need to do an inspection. I'm like, oh, please. No, I don't like that, yeah.
So it's good to know what the inspector is inspecting. You know, what are we looking at, and what are the big things that can go wrong?
Good question. They're looking for the foundation. Is the foundation of this house, are there any things that we should be concerned about, right?
Yep.
I mentioned the carbon monoxide. They will look at the furnace, and if there's a crack, they can see that, right? I mean, so they can see these things, and they not only that, but they do like this little gas thing, and they test is anything leaking.
Cool.
You know, so there's things that they know that we don't.
Right, and those are the big
And
things.
sometimes, you know, and I tell people, we're not doing an inspection so that we can point out every little thing that's wrong.
Right.
We're not saying, oh, there's a burnt out light bulb. Oh, the furnace filter needs to be changed.
Sure, those
we're
are normal.
looking for safety items. We're looking for things that could affect the use of the house. Like, you know, sometimes you find out at an inspection, oh, that beautiful fireplace there, yeah, that's not usable.
Okay.
You know, things like that. So I feel like the inspectors, and let me just say this while we're talking about inspections. It's not like one inspector is the same as the next inspector is the same as the next inspector.
I was curious about that.
So please ask your trusted realtor, call me, because I'm not going to sit here on TV and tell you who to avoid, but if you call me, I'll tell you. So there are some that are pretty scary.
Okay, so it really does make a difference.
It makes a difference because unfortunately, it's not like it's a really thorough training. It's not like these people have to be, you know, structural engineers or something like that. But a lot of them have a lot of knowledge. Like the inspectors that we work with, one is a master plumber who did a lot of new construction, and so he's very familiar with houses and how houses work. So he's really knowledgeable, okay? Yeah. Another one was a builder for many years. And then he was in charge of like maintenance for many, many years at Mayo Clinic. So like he knows his stuff, all right?
Experience.
So these guys, so these guys know what they're doing, what they're looking for. And then there's other ones who, a little scary.
It's all about who you know. And Robin
and
knows.
who you're using.
Yes.
And I mean, I will tell you that as a listing agent, when I get offers that are contingent upon an inspection, the first question I ask is, who do you use for an inspection?
Okay, so it matters and it makes a difference, and Robin is here to help you. Thank you so much, Robin, for being here. We've got more Midwest Access coming up on the other side of the break.